ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Tuesday, January 21st. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to hear from Marshall swimming and diving coach Ian Walsh. The Thundering Herd has been successful as of late. Also have had multiple swimmer and divers of the week in league action. So we've got Ian coming up in the next few minutes. Going to look forward to talking to him. Until then, we'll keep the text line open for you this hour. We're going to hear from Coach Jackson a little bit later on as well. It was a great weekend for the Thundering Herd, finally getting a road win. And I got a chance to talk to Coach yesterday, and he was excited. He should be. Herd hasn't won since last year. It was a calendar year since the Herd had last won on the road. And so we're going to talk to Coach in just a few minutes as well, get his thoughts. And until then, we're going to keep it open for you. As last night, the national championship decided, actually a better game than I thought it might be. Notre Dame and Ohio State. It at least kept me interested till the end. Ohio State wins that one 34-23. So Ohio State now has its 9th national title and second in the college football playoff era. And a lot of people have made note that the first 4-team playoff, the Buckeyes won that. And now the first 12-team playoff, the Buckeyes also won that. So Ohio State definitely going to be in the hunt for a national championship on a yearly basis. Now that we've watched this, what do you think? Need to redo the seeding? Should the conference champion get the first round bye? Or should the conference champion just get the automatic bid and then you seed the teams as you see them as far as rankings concerned? I think the committee did as good of a job as it possibly could. We got 2 teams that were not seeded 1 through 4 in the championship game, and I think that made it interesting. We also, I think, got the 2 best teams, at least in that tournament structure. Ohio State, a lot of questions coming into this. Were they going to be able to bounce back from a tough loss against Michigan? And I think they answered that, obviously. So the Buckeyes with the national championship. I'm sure there's going to be a victory parade here at Kinder Communications. Our news director, Bill Cornwell, huge Ohio State fan. If you haven't yet, you probably will see him across the tri-state soon. He's been sporting that Ohio State cap, wore it again this morning. So he's in good spirits. And, of course, we're, 200-some days away from the start of college football again. And I think we're all excited for Coach Gibson, what he's going to do with the Thundering Herd. So just keep your calendars clear. We got college football right around the corner, but plenty of basketball, including tonight. We're going to hear from Coach Jackson a little bit later on. And then later on, he's going to be speaking with the voice of the Herd, Steve Cotton. We've got Inside Marshall basketball coming up tonight right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930 and on 93.7 The Dog. Also, you'll hear from the women's coach, Julie Folk. So all of that's coming up tonight, 7:05 right here inside Marshall basketball. NFL conference finals are set. I'm excited because it's going to be Buffalo at Kansas City. It's going to be Washington at Philadelphia. I am going to have to root for Philadelphia and Buffalo. I'm not rooting for Kansas City. I know a lot of people are all in on Kansas City. I am not rooting for the Chiefs. Nothing against Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. I like listening to Kelce's podcast. It's cool. But I'm going to have to pull for Buffalo in this thing. And then I am not pulling for Washington. Never, ever will I pull for Washington? Not in football, not in basketball, not in hockey. Never going to pull for Washington. But boy, they got a shot, don't they? They look good. So that should be fun. We got a great, I think, couple of games, and those are coming up this Sunday, and we're going to have the Super Bowl here as well. So Washington, Philadelphia, Buffalo, Kansas City, those should be fun. I know the shock of the Detroit Lions not making it to the NFC Championship game is still too soon to talk about it, probably with Lions fans. Probably. But at the same time, it was good to see them make a run. I like it when we get some different teams going at it. Of course, I say that with the Bengals on the outside looking in, but still, I don't like seeing the same team. Unless it's my team, I don't like seeing the same teams every year. So it's been fun so far. So we had a busy weekend, of course, now that we've got college football over. And what do you think about that game being on Monday night? I saw a lot of chatter about that. Monday night game for college football, it didn't bother me at all. It was actually nice to have. It was Martin Luther King Day, and there was a lot of NBA going on. And, of course, then we had the college football championship. And a lot of people were off. Not everyone, but a lot of people were off on the holiday. And so do you have that game on a Monday? You're trying to avoid the NFL because the NFL just sucks the oxygen out of everything. The NFL is going to do what it does. Christmas Day, and we're going to play some NFL games. I know you got that NBA thing going on. We're going to play too. Saturday, Sunday, all kinds of days, picking every day it wants to play in. So if you're a college football championship, do you try to start that thing a little earlier? Do you have a bracket which starts earlier, or do you push it back a little bit? Try to avoid the NFL? That's an interesting question. For one, I was okay with it. Absolutely. I didn't have a problem. It was on. I know college football starts to lose a little steam toward the end unless you're one of the two teams participating. There's a little steam that's lost. I'll be interested to see what the final numbers look like. And, of course, ESPN had the broadcast, and they have all their multicast, not just the regular game broadcast. Had the side, like the Pat McAfee. I didn't even watch any of that. I watched some of the Sky Cam a little bit more. That was a little bit more interesting to me. But where are we at on this playoff? Do we see a change in which the conference champion doesn't get an automatic unless it's one of the high seeds? You don't seed by, conference champions. Like, we're going to seed you 1 through 12. And so if the highest ranked conference champion of the non-autonomy schools, say Marshall's in this thing, automatically Marshall is a 12 if Marshall's not ranked. By the way, Marshall did receive some votes in the final poll. Not enough to crack the top 25, but someone was putting some love towards the Thundering Herd, so that's always good to see. And I know you've been watching the Rivals rankings, and I don't know how much I really put stock into the recruiting services. I would rather trust the coach's instincts than say, look, you got a bunch of 2s here and some 3s. I know it's bragging rights for a lot of schools, a lot of coaches like to talk about it, but I don't think that coaches are recruiting based off of it. But it's nice to say, hey, look, we're top 2, top 3 in the Rivals recruiting rankings. And, of course, I know Herd fans are going to run with that, especially since the previous coach really loved stuff like that. So I've seen that. Don't think I haven't seen your stuff on social. Absolutely. By the way, you can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Paul Swann. And, of course, we post the show link there every day. If you missed it, we post the podcast, make it available for you after the show. When we continue, Ian Walsh is going to join us. He's the head coach of the Marshall Swim and Dive team. Team's been on a run as of late. We'll talk to him. And there's also an upcoming meet coming up on Friday. We'll talk about that with him when we continue on this edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Kindred Digital Sports is proud to bring you the Marshall Orthopedics High School Basketball Showcase, presented by the Marshall Sports Medicine Institute. Tuesday night at 7, watch live HD video of the Cabell Midland Knights as they host the George Washington Patriots. Watch live on this station's Facebook page or website and on the Cabell County Schools Facebook page. Cabell Midland versus George Washington, Tuesday night. It's the Marshall Orthopedics High School Basketball Showcase, fueled by GoMart. Go for good times. Go for GoMart. Hey, Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. If you're a sports fan, we have what you want. From the biggest game in professional football, NBA, NCAA basketball, and the NHL. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials we have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check us out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Stalwart Insurance is the name for insurance in the Tri-State. They are committed to delivering tailored benefit solutions with thoughtful, strategic planning with valuable professional services. Stop by or call Stalwart Insurance for your homeowner's insurance needs. Stalwart Insurance is located right beside Kenny Queen Hardware on Route 10 in Barbersville. Call Stalwart Insurance anytime at 304-552-3883. That's 304-552-3883. Or visit them online at stalwartinsurance.com.
Metro Community Federal Credit Union has been serving the Huntington community for 70 years and is proud to announce our newest location in Lavalette is now open. Wayne County residents, you now have access to a modern banking facility, a full range of services, advanced technology, expert financial advice, and even a smart coffee kiosk cafe. Learn more about Metro Community Federal Credit Union online at metrocommunityfcu.com or visit us today on 5th Street Road.
Equal housing lender, member NCUA.
Hey, Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. If you're a sports fan, we have what you want. From the biggest game in professional football, NBA, NCAA basketball, and the NHL. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials we have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check us out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
Welcome back to our Tuesday edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We'll open up our text line in just a few minutes, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. It's a pleasure now to welcome to the program. He is the head coach of Marshall's swimming and diving team. He is Ian Walsh. And, Coach, good to talk to you again, and we got a lot to get into. You're having probably one of your best seasons in a long time. Where would you put this season right now if you were evaluating it and stopping today?
I mean, every year is really different, just with different personnel and freshmen coming in and getting acclimated. But if you're going based off, meet record and kind of what we've done at midseason, I'd say we're probably having one of the best seasons really to date since I've been here.
What is it about this group of young student athletes that you have? What is it about them that's finding success early this season?
Yeah, I think first it just starts with really great leadership from our seniors and our fifth years and our captains. I think really kind of setting the tone, and a lot of the conversations early on has just been really putting ourselves out there and talking about chasing a championship and winning and what that really takes. I think everyone wants to win at some level, but I think I would say you don't rise to the occasion, you fall to the basic level of your preparation. I feel like the team has just had just a different feel and competitive spirit since day one. And I think a big part of that has been our captains and just how our seniors and our upperclassmen kind of supported that vision and have been able to take these 8 freshmen that have come along and really shepherd them to get to a place where I think they're starting to really truly believe in themselves. And then in turn, we find, these little pockets of success in their dual meet schedule and specifically midseason.
It helps also you have a conference actually to chase a championship, and felt like for a while that there was a lot up in the air about your program, where it would compete. And now you've got a conference you can actually look at compete for a championship in. Has that helped? Has that made a lot of a difference in how this season has progressed? Now you have something tangible to go after.
Yeah, we always want to try to field our best team and compete at, we want to eventually compete at the national level and get to NC2As. And we found, individual success and going to Olympic trials and, being able to support kind of those individual goals. But absolutely, when you have a consistent conference and you kind of know what the rest of the teams are doing, you can, I guess, recruit and really cater kind of your team to where the strengths are, where the weaknesses are. And, for our sport, it really comes down to points and putting together our best 20 athletes to compete at the end of the year. So, yeah, having a sense of who we're going up against gives us a lot better insight into how we can field a team to not only be our best, but also chase a championship and really kind of isolate our weaknesses and really focus on our strengths.
And it's a little different than other sports because you're not competing against conference mates all the time. You might see them, but it's not as a schedule like tennis. I've talked to Coach Mercer. It's nice for him now. He's got a schedule where he actually will face off against teams in the Sun Belt. For you, it's very important. You have an idea now what the other teams are doing, but you're competing more so maybe against their marks, but more against yourself than anything.
Yeah, we always talk about it. I think it's a very big difference with pursuing to being the best and pursuing to be our best. And we talk quite a bit about controlling the controllables. And I think that's a really big difference, too, in this team and program, that they've really kind of owned that and made sure that we're not paying attention to necessarily what other teams are doing, but trying to be our best, because that's really all that we can, stand up on the block, stand up on the boards and do. So I feel like our team has just done a really good job in doing that. And I think because of that, we're finding a lot of individual success, and it's a lot easier to stand up and execute a race plan than trying to worry about, what the James Madisons and Georgia Southerns and Old Dominions of the world are trying to do, in their separate meet schedules. So it's been nice, going up and racing against JMU every year. They're obviously the team to beat this year, and we're going to chase that hopefully. And we got Georgia Southern on the schedule this year. They're coming to us for senior.
Ian Walsh is with us, swim and dive head coach. You've got Friday coming up. You cut it out a little bit, Coach. You back with me?
About teams, all season long, get to see a little bit different competition.
Coach Walsh is with us. You cut out there for a second, Coach. I'm glad we got you back. You're getting set for a contest against Ohio on Friday. Before we talk about, you mentioned individual success. So far, you have to probably start with Grace Kelschmeyer, Diver of the Week 6 times in league, and I'm sure that's been exciting for her to have that as something that she can really hang her hat on, and just you can point to that individual success, and she's done it 6 times now in the league.
Yeah, she's been a tremendous leader on the boards. She's one of our team captains, and you talk about leading by example and doing things the right way and really being committed to her craft. We've seen that, and she's done a phenomenal job being able to execute that on a daily basis. And the awards speak for themselves. We're really excited for her, and it's definitely well deserving. And every year she's gotten better, so we're excited for her leading into championship season.
And because you've gotten a lot of top performances from a lot of your student athletes. Now, you're going to have to help me because I'm just going to be honest with you. Sometimes I butcher some of these names, and I try my very best, Coach. Senya is a 4-time swimmer of the week in league play. Could you talk about just her individual success and what she's been able to accomplish for you?
Yeah, she's really set the tone coming in. She's a very talented young lady, but just how she kind of navigates the day-to-day practice-wise. She's a great trainer, and freshman year it's always really hard. I think she spoke to a couple people freshman year, just getting acclimated, being away from home, new training, new environment, and she, along with a lot of our other freshmen, have done a great job. But yeah, for her, it's just she's been able to acclimate really, really quickly, and she's found quite a bit of
Ian Walsh is with us, head coach, Marshall Swimming and Diving. How far have you seen this program really grow? Maybe some of the things that we don't see, because it just looks from the outside in that every year you're reaching a new benchmark. And I know you probably evaluate yourself differently than what we do as far as looking at success and failure. But where would you evaluate where this program is now compared to maybe where it was a few years ago, even before getting into the Sun Belt, even before maybe having Christian Spears come in as the athletic director? Because it looks like just from the outside, things have gotten a lot better. Is that a fair assessment? Has it always been good and we're just now noticing?
I feel like we've always had, I don't know, it's kind of hard to say just because we've been, in 4 different conferences in 4 years. So, it's always hard. I think on the outside looking in, I feel like we've always been a really strong, program. I think we've got collectively better. I think our depth has, our recruiting efforts and be able to fill some gaps. I feel like this is probably the strongest roster top to bottom across, all 24 events for us in diving and swimming, that we're just stronger as a whole collectively. But I think we've been able to attract just some really talented young ladies domestically, internationally. And, I feel like every year we've been slowly getting better, but I think this year has kind of been a really unique season with some unexpected people coming along the way. And again, I think it's a combination of just our upperclassmen being able to really shepherd our underclassmen to bring the collective whole at a more competitive level, if that makes sense.
Ian Walsh is with us. So Ohio is the next opponent. That's going to be Friday at 7 o'clock. And you've been getting some really nice crowds. I can say that. I know every time that there's a different event going on and swimming is also having a meet, I know how difficult it is to get parking hours before the other event. So I know there's a lot of people showing up. Just if you could talk about that support. It's been growing and it's always been there, but I think more and more people are paying attention, are aware of actually what's going on with your program. And I think that you've seen the support.
Yeah, credit to our marketing team and just Marshall Athletics as a whole. Christian Spears always talk about it's everything matters and everyone matters, and to be able to get and promote what we're doing in the pool and on the boards has been a huge part. And our women, they're really proud of what we do, and they work incredibly hard, and I think we have a great product, so to speak. And when you come to a meet, I think it's exciting. There's music playing. We've been doing pretty well in our dual meets and walking away with some wins and breaking some pool records and things. So it's a really exciting environment. I think the more people we can get in the stands, they'll be able to kind of see and realize that it's a pretty fun environment.
You'll appreciate this. I've had a couple of listeners as of late even message me asking, and maybe you can answer this, what the future looks like, why Marshall doesn't have more going on at home. Why aren't we seeing more home meets? And, of course, the schedule is very difficult to put together on a yearly basis. But, can you address that? What are we going to see as far as scheduling in the future? Because there are people who are actually messaging me interested and wondering to know, why can't we see your team more at home?
Yeah, if it was up to me, I would love to have all our meets at home. I know it's always hard just regionally because we're a women's only program and there's some more combined programs probably in our 3 to 4 hour radius that it is hard to get women's only programs to come and compete here. But I know we have an exciting schedule we're trying to put together this year. It's been the most home hosted events that we've had, 2 in the fall, 2 in the spring. But I think the more competitive we're getting as well, I think we're going to draw some attention from other teams. I know we've talked to UK. We went to them one year and be able to bring an SEC team to Huntington. We're working on some things hopefully this coming year. Just with the season that we're having, I think we're hopeful to have 4, hopefully 5 home meets this coming year. So yeah, it's a scheduling thing. We only get 20 competition days as well. So our 4-day championship in February and our 3-day multi-session meets kind of chew up a lot of those days. But we are making a conscious effort to try to get some more home events for our fans.
And I'm sure part of it as well is you want to make sure you're putting together the most competitive schedule you can. You don't want to just stack up wins for the sake of wins. You want to actually put
Sure.
out there a competitive team and put yourself in a position where you have to compete. So that's probably part of this as well, trying to go up against the best programs you possibly can.
Absolutely, yeah, and we've had some great competition. Staying in the MAC. MAC is in swimming and diving pretty competitive, so we've been able to go up to the Toledos just regionally. That's made a lot of sense for us. Ohio coming here on Friday as well, but yeah, we have exciting prospects leading into this next season. Don't want to get ahead of ourselves with 25-26. We're going to be able to hopefully get some different teams at definitely a higher caliber here at home. So hopefully we can get those people on the phones that are calling pleased with who we're bringing into Huntington next season.
Before I let you go, I'm always curious during the time of the Olympics when people are excited, be it winter games or summer games. Do you see after an Olympics, do you see sort of a push or a bump in people that are interested in what you do, your program? Do you get sort of a kickback from all that excitement from the Olympics?
I think so. I think the biggest thing and what we're trying to do within our sport of swimming and diving, just with the change in just athletics overall, I think our sport, you only see it's once every 4 years. We want to try to make dual meets more entertaining and create a more exciting, really viewership. So I think we've done some things with marketing and just what we're trying to do with our event schedule and kind of like the meet/game experience for us. We just want to make a swim meet, much more exciting than maybe historically it has been. So, next fall, again, bring in different teams, having different meet formats, engaging with, the fans a little bit more, should continue to draw some more people in. But the Olympics certainly help, but we don't want to, have to bank on that and make it every 4 years. We want excitement around our sport every season, hopefully. So that's the end goal.
Ian Walsh is with us, Marshall's swimming and diving coach. Coming up on Friday, 7 o'clock, it's going to be Marshall playing host to Ohio. For those that maybe are interested, haven't been to a meet just yet, what do they need to know? How much does it cost to get in, and all the details?
Yeah, it is a free admission. Spectator capacity is 800, so we got plenty of seats. We have great sight lines. We're going to be streamed also on ESPN Plus. Time-wise, we'll kick off, I think, 7:02 officially, and the meet's about 90 minutes. It's going to be done in less than 2 hours. So great environment. We usually do a duck toss during one of the breaks. It's kind of like a fundraiser 50-50 raffle format, so we'll be doing that. So, yeah, come down, check us out. Should be a really fun, close meet.
Coach, good talking to you. Congratulations on all the success so far, and I'm excited. Can't wait for this team to compete in the Sun Belt Conference Championship, and love to see this team bring home some hardware to the herd.
Yeah, we appreciate everyone's support, and we're excited for the upcoming meets. So appreciate you guys having us on.
Coach, glad to do it. We'll do it again soon.
All right, take care. Thanks, Paul.
That's Ian Walsh, everyone, Marshall's swimming and diving coach. The Thundering Herd getting set to take on the Bobcats. That's coming up on Friday, 7 o'clock. And as you heard, free admission, plenty of seating for everyone who's interested. And, of course, I tell you right now, get there early. Absolutely. Every time there's a swimming and diving meet, I know it because there's always a great crowd showing up for those events. We will get your text, 304-396-TALK. That's our Clark's Pump and Shop text line, 304-396-8255. We're going to hear from Marshall basketball coach Cornelius Jackson. That's coming up on today's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
New year, new you, and a fresh start for your car, too. Let's leave the grime of 2024 behind and roll into 2025 with a spotless shine, thanks to Thoroughbred Express. Our unlimited membership means you can keep your ride sparkling all year long, no matter what winter throws your way. Enjoy premium amenities, top-notch service, and the clean car you deserve. Start your new year off with Thoroughbred Express, where we make clean
clean, easy. Visit us today and drive into 2025 in style. Head to thoroughbredexpress.com.
Now is the time to add on a new bathroom or remodel your old one with the latest up-to-date bathroom fixtures from Mutual Wholesalers, 710 5th Street, Huntington. Come in today to Mutual Wholesalers' beautiful showroom and see how your new bathroom will look. Check out Acre by Max. Have a new bathroom this year. Mutual Wholesalers, locally owned and operated, 710 5th Street, Huntington. Call 304-525-9118.
Stuck in a state of falling behind, struggling to keep up with kids, finances, insurance, and life? Well, let your State Farm agent help you simplify and get to a better state. With State Farm handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time to handle everything else. More money, too. Adding State Farm policies can earn discounts that could add up to 40% and help you get ahead. Call an agent today and get to a better state with State Farm. In Huntington, Jeff Smith, 304-781-1234. And in Wayne, Vicky Tabor, 304-272-5149.
Giovanni's Pizza. Fresh, hot, and tasty. Have it delivered right to your door. Giovanni's, the Italian place to be.
Our Kindred Communications family of stations reminds you of the need for blood donations to the Red Cross. Blood is always needed. It may save your life or the life of a loved one. This reminder is brought to you in part by
CF Rushline Jewelers. Visit CF Rushline Jewelers at 947 3rd Avenue in Huntington, across from Pullman Square, Huntington's Peddlers Mall, located in the heart of historic Central City District on 814th Street West at Westland Plaza Shopping Center, Greater Huntington Parks and Recreation District. Explore the parks, trails, and facilities. Learn more at ghprd.org.
Metro Community Federal Credit Union has been serving the Huntington community for 70 years and is proud to announce our newest location in Lavalette is now open. Wayne County residents, you now have access to a modern banking facility, a full range of services, advanced technology, expert financial advice, and even a smart coffee kiosk cafe. Learn more about Metro Community Federal Credit Union online at metrocommunityfcu.com or visit us today on 5th Street Road.
Equal housing lender, member NCUA.
Hey Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. If you're a sports fan, we have what you want. From the biggest game in professional football, NBA, NCAA basketball, and the NHL. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials we have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check us out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to this Tuesday edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. So the Thundering Herd got its win on Saturday at Coastal Carolina. So Marshall has gotten that monkey off its back. Coach Jackson, after 7 tries and 7 losses, number 8 was the win. And that also broke a 14-game road losing streak. So a lot of good things happening with the win against Coastal Carolina on Saturday. Yesterday, I had a chance to head on over to the Henderson Center, catch up with the coach real quick. Let's get his initial thoughts on the week ahead as Marshall gets set for Georgia State and then Georgia Southern.
Big opportunity. Obviously, we're on the road for 2 more. Hadn't played Georgia State yet, but obviously we played Georgia Southern here. So again, they're a better team at home than on the road. They're 6-4 at home this year to start off with Georgia State. So we have to bring our hard hats, we have to bring our focus, and we have to be ready to go.
And that was one of the questions that I asked yesterday. As the home teams have been more successful this season in the Sun Belt, and that's a metric that a lot of people follow. How successful are the road teams compared to home teams? And Coach talked about that as far as not just Sun Belt, but nationally, home teams are winning a lot more across the country.
Yeah, not just in the conference, but in the country. Teams usually play better at home. Like I said, these guys, Georgia State, they're a different team at home than they are on the road, as a lot of teams. So they'll play. You know, we're expecting them to come out, play with energy, high energy. Like I said, they're 6-4 at home, so we're expecting them to come out and be ready for the Herd when we get there.
And just on the flip side, I know the road troubles, they've been aware of it as a team. They've been aware of it, but it's not something that they have talked about. I've talked about it probably more than Coach Jackson's talked about it. And there's been a lot to talk about. 14 straight on the road going back to last calendar year. 7 straight losses on the road this season. So after the game, you heard Obina, if you were listening to our post game, he was excited to get this road win. Coach was excited to get this road win. Not evident then, but when Coach came back to the locker room, he got the Gatorade bath. They soaked him. And so there was just a lot of excitement for something that they really haven't made an emphasis on, you know, not trying to put more pressure on these guys, but it had to happen. They had to get this road win. It was sort of a mini must win, and they were excited about it, but it was something they weren't really harping on or overstressing.
Yeah, you know what? It's crazy. We didn't talk about it a whole lot. You know, we just talked about our preparation and our process going into each game, whether it be home or on the road. So, the celebration is fun. I got drenched. Those guys were super excited, as I was, and it was good. You know, mentally it was good to finally secure a road win, and it felt good. The plane ride was good coming home. The bus ride to the airport was good. The energy and the happiness was on a high note. So that's always positive.
So now Thundering Herd has a short turnaround back on the road, and you've got a familiar foe in Georgia Southern. Then you got Georgia State, and you're going to see them again. It's going to happen a few more times. One of the questions that I had for Coach about that quick turnaround, you have a different method. How do you prepare when you have a situation where you see an opponent, then you're off, and you see an opponent again? Does that change anything how you go about getting ready?
No, you know what? We're just more familiar with them, but our preparation pretty much stays the same. But again, we haven't played Georgia State, but Georgia Southern, we just played them a few weeks ago. So our preparation going into that game will be the same as a one-day turnaround, because we play on Thursday, prepare for those guys on Friday, and then play Saturday.
And speaking of Georgia State, what's that team like? We haven't seen them yet, so here's Coach's initial thoughts on what we can expect out of Georgia State.
Yeah, no, they're a good team. You know what? Their record may not reflect it, but they have talented guys. They have several transfers like the majority of the league, but they have guys that can score. Their leading scorer is a transfer from Northern Illinois. He averaged 15 at Northern. He averaged 15 at Georgia State. So they have shooters. They have athleticism. Their center is a transfer as well. He's 6'10", probably 240. So again, it's another one of those grinded out games. We're expecting those guys to be excited to be back at home. We're expecting them to be physical, and like I told you earlier, I think they'll be ready to play. So we have to have our focus, our intensity, and our togetherness has to be a main priority on this trip.
That's Coach Jackson. We'll hear a little bit more from him when we continue. Our text line this hour, brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. This is The Drive, ESPN 94.1 in AM 930.
Metro Community Federal Credit Union has been serving the Huntington community for 70 years and is proud to announce our newest location in Lavalette is now open. Wayne County residents, you now have access to a modern banking facility, a full range of services, advanced technology, expert financial advice, and even a smart coffee kiosk cafe. Learn more about Metro Community Federal Credit Union online at metrocommunityfcu.com or visit us today on 5th Street Road.
Equal housing lender, member NCUA.
Hey Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. If you're a sports fan, we have what you want. From the biggest game in professional football, NBA, NCAA basketball, and the NHL. First responders, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials we have for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza, next to Fratelli's. Check us out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away away from home.
Stalwart Insurance is the name for insurance in the tri-state. They are committed to delivering tailored benefit solutions with thoughtful, strategic planning with valuable professional services. Stop by or call Stalwart Insurance for your homeowner's insurance needs. Stalwart Insurance is located right beside Kitty Queen Hardware on Route 10 in Barbersville. Call Stalwart Insurance anytime at 304-552-3883. That's 304-552-3883. Or visit them online at stalwartinsurance.com.
Save big money at Menards. Do you need durable flooring that stands up to life's messes? Update your home with new vinyl plank flooring. Peyton Vinyl Plank comes in 2 styles with a realistic wood look. It features an attached pad for easy installation, plus it's waterproof and durable. Peyton Vinyl Plank flooring is just $139 per square foot. Trust Menards for all your flooring needs. Sale prices good through January 26th.
Save big money at Menards.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night.
Perfect. I love my job.
Oak tree?
What's up?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think he would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talkline, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop is 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Welcome back to The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Busy night tonight for Herd fans, as coming up later, it's going to be Inside Marshall Basketball. That's 7:05 tonight. That'll be live right here and on 93.7 The Dog. Your chance to hear from the head coach, Cornelius Jackson, and Marshall women's basketball coach, Julie Folks. Coming up tonight right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. A couple more from Coach Jackson for me before we get your text at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Marshall went up against a team like Coastal Carolina that likes to control the pace. They're a slower pace type of team, and of course, I think when Marshall plays faster, Marshall plays better. One of the questions we had for Coach was just on how Marshall controlled the pace of the game, especially with a team like Coastal Carolina that really doesn't like to play fast. And here's what he thought. He really didn't think that they controlled the tempo as much as just they played a good game of basketball.
Yeah, I don't know if I felt we controlled the pace. I mean, I thought we tried to get out in transition. We have to play tough and get a stop. They'll push it early, but if they don't have anything early, they want to run a set. But I like the way we got out in transition. That's a focus for us. I think we're best when we get out and put pressure on the defense and move the ball around. I think we get probably our best quality shots, with the exception of going into Nader and Obina and having those guys either score or kick it out.
And finally, for me yesterday, I asked Coach, just now that you've had a chance to look at the film, break it down a little bit, just what stood out to you? Anything different, anything that you didn't see before? And he had some good things to say. Nothing necessarily stood out to him in the sense that, I'm surprised by that. But he still liked what he saw.
No, we you know what? We just have to play our game, shoot more consistent. I thought the JMU game, we took way more threes early than what we normally do. We took 23 threes at halftime. We had 23 threes. So I thought we settled. We obviously want to shoot the three ball, but I would prefer to play inside out and don't settle. We want to keep attacking the basket and attacking it with force. And then we'll get the kick-out threes, or we'll get the transition threes like we did at Coastal. If you watch the Coastal game, I believe we took 20 for the game. And we got Jalen Spear got a couple kick-outs from Nate. He got a transition pitch back from Mike Dawson. So we'll take those. And then Mike Dawson hit a three in the corner from Dzane, just a regular one more pass. So we'll take those threes. We just don't want to jack and settle without putting pressure on the defense.
And I agree with that. That's where we have sometimes looked at the numbers and thought, if Marshall could have gone for a better shot, not just settle for a three-point shot. I don't mind if Marshall's feeling it and can hit some good three-pointers. Absolutely. I'm not saying take that from the offense and just settle. What I'm saying is there have been times where I thought that's not, maybe because it's open doesn't mean that's a good shot for you. If you're a shooter and you've got a good shot, then you take it. But if there's a better high percentage shot somewhere, maybe you take that as well. I mean, these are all things that are just simple basketball. I like working it. I like making sure you've got the best shot. I don't want to just come down and shoot. And I think the Herd's gotten a lot better at coming down and taking the better shot, not just, it's open, I'm taking it. Take the better shot. Go for some of that inside. Go for shots that are higher percentage. Go for shots that are good. And I don't want to have a conversation where we're looking at the numbers and go, yeah, you know what, the Herd shot way too much from the three-point line. Now, if you're making them, you're making them. But if you're not making them, find some other avenues of offense. And that's probably a fair assessment, and I think Coach has made that assessment. We don't want to settle for shots. We want to take good shots. We don't want to settle. We don't want to take too many threes. We want to shoot the three, but we don't want to come down and just jack it up. And that's sometimes what happens. So I give the Herd credit. JMU game was winnable on the road. It's a tough place to play. Coastal Carolina was not a season's over if you don't win. It was more of a must win. You got to win on the road. You got to get a feel for what that is like. You have to do it sooner than later. Coastal offered you a great opportunity, and there were a lot of Herd fans down there as well. So great opportunity for the Herd to win, and Marshall took advantage of it. Text lines 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That's our text line to be a part of today's show here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. And again, don't forget, coming up tonight, 7:05, it's going to be Inside Marshall Basketball. That's your chance to hear what the two head coaches of the basketball teams have to say. Coach Jackson and Coach Fulks. Coming up tonight, 7:05, right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. And it's going to be on 93.7 The Dog. Good news. Since we're almost out of football season, we're done with college football. That's it. We're done. NFL is going to play on Sunday. We're good there. So now I can honestly say we're back. We're going to have Marshall basketball coming up 7 o'clock on Thursday. I know it's been confusing for a few. Those of you who like to keep it on either 930 or 94.1. I appreciate that. We're going to be back on both stations, and we're going to also continue to have Herd basketball on 93.7 The Dog as well. So a lot to look forward to as the Herd getting set for the February run. Still some road contests to get through before we can get to the tournament. Coastal win made me feel good. How the team played at JMU, I felt good. I didn't like the loss. I felt good. If Marshall can get the road wins, if Marshall comes out of this road trip 3-1, I'm good. I feel good about that. 2-2, I'll be okay with that. I want 3-1. Win the next two. If you lose both of them, I'm not going to feel good about it. So a split's going to be the least I will take. I'll take a split. 2-2, 1-1 this week. That's the least I will take. It's tough to win on the road. But if Marshall can show it can win on the road consistently, start picking that up, and then come back at home where Marshall's tough, not totally invincible, but Marshall has a pretty good chance anytime it's at home. I like the stretch run for this team, and I hope that we can see more production out of Obina and Achille Killen. I hope we see more from Nate Martin. And again, I want a double-double out of him every game. I want him in double-digit scoring and double digits rebounding. I want to see 5 players in double-digit scoring. That's what I'm really looking for here. I want to see Dzane Mingo in double-digit scoring, Jalen Spear in double-digit scoring. I want to see Michael Dawson, double-digit scoring. I want to see 5 players. I don't know if that's too much to ask for, if that's realistic. You go with the hot hand. But that's what I want to see this team get to at some point in conference, the rest of these games. I want to look at that score sheet and go, Marshall with 5 players in double-digit scoring. Marshall's got to continue to out-rebound teams. I think that's key. Second chance points are going to have to be important for the Thundering Herd. That's key. And what Coach said, transition basketball. I look at the stat sheet every time we do one of these post games, and I circle a few numbers. I circle assists and turnovers because Coach Jackson always emphasizes those 2 numbers, so I emphasize those 2 numbers. I always look at fast break points. Second chance points, fast break points. Those are some of the big numbers for me. Rebounding, obviously. Points in the paint. If you're scoring from outside and the other team's scoring from the inside, okay. But how many second chance opportunities did you get? How many points? How many fast break points did you get? That's a Marshall stat as far as I'm concerned. Marshall should win that stat every single time on the scoreboard. That is going to pretty much do it for this edition. I do want to remind you, but while we have a minute, don't forget if you missed anything today or you want to go back and get a previous episode, there was an interview you missed, something that you want to go back and listen to or hear for the first time. Find us on Apple Podcast. It's free. All you have to do is hit the follow button. Also on Spotify, for those of you who have Spotify, and you can subscribe either place or follow. It's free. And we also post on our website, WRVC.com. You can live stream there. You can also get the app. That's a really cool thing to do. If you get the streaming app, and the link's available at WRVC.com. Make it easy for you. We post the podcast. It goes to the app. There's a tab for the podcast, so you can listen to the station, you can listen to the show podcast, or you can get it however you get it. Wherever you get your podcast is where you can find our show. That's going to do it. I want to thank my guest today, Marshall's swimming and diving coach Ian Walsh. We appreciate him for checking in. The Herd in action on Friday, taking on Ohio. 7 o'clock should be a fun one. Marshall has been pretty strong so far in this season and getting set for hopefully a Sun Belt Conference championship, and we're definitely hoping that Marshall can do that and pull that off. That's it. We're done. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back with you tomorrow. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Broadcasting from the Dave & Buster's studios. Eat, drink, play, and watch at Dave & Buster's in the Huntington Mall. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. WRBC, W231BS Huntington.